Today I thought I would finish reading The Giraffe, the Pelly and Me. I hope you enjoy it. I stood alone with the Duke on the lawn beside his great house. Well, Billy, he said, I'm glad they're all happy, but what about you, my lad? I'm wondering if you happen to have just one extra special little wish for yourself. If you do, I'd love for you to tell me about it. There was a sudden tingling in my toes. I felt as though something tremendous might be going to happen to me at any moment. Yes, I murmured nervously. I do have one extra special little wish. And what might that be? Said the Duke in a kindly voice. There is an old wooden house near where I live. It's called the Grubber, and long ago it used to be a sweet shop. I've wished and wished that one day somebody might come along and make it into a marvellous new sweet shop over again. Somebody? Cried the Duke. What do you mean, somebody? You and I will do that. We'll do it together. We'll make it into the most wonderful sweet shop in the world, and you, my boy, will own it. Whenever the old Duke got excited, his enormous moustaches started to bristle and jump about. Right now they were jumping up and down so much that it looked as though he had a squirrel on his face. By God, sir, he cried, waving his stick, I shall buy the place today, and then we'll get to work and have the whole thing ready in no time. You just wait and see what sort of sweet shop we're going to make out of this Grubber place of yours. It was amazing how quickly things began to happen after that. There was no problem about buying the house because it was owned by the Giraffe, the Pelly and the Monkey, and they insisted upon giving it to the Duke for nothing. Then the builders and carpenters moved in and rebuilt the whole of the inside so that once again it had 3 floors. On all of these floors they put together rows and rows of tall shelves, and there were ladders to climb up onto the highest shelves and baskets to carry what you bought. Then the sweets and chocks and toffees and fudges and nougats began pouring in to fill the shelves. They came by aeroplane from every country in the world, the most wild and wondrous things you could ever imagine. There were gum twizzlers and fizzwinkles from China, froth blowers and spit sizzlers from Africa, tummy ticklers and gobwangles from the Fiji Islands, and lip lickers and plush nuggets from the land of the midnight sun. For 2 whole weeks the flood of boxes and sacks continued to arrive. I could no longer keep track of all the countries they came from, but you can bet your life that as I unpacked each new batch, I sampled it carefully. I can remember especially the giant wangdoodles from Australia, every one with a huge ripe red strawberry hidden inside its crispy chocolate crust. Sounds yummy. And the electric fizz cocklers that made every hair on your head stand up on the end as soon as you popped one into your mouth. And then there were the nish nobblers and gum glotters and blue bubblers and sherbet slurpers and tongue rakers. And as well as this, there was a whole lot of splendid stuff from the Great Wonka factory itself. For example, the famous Willy Wonka rainbow drops. Suck them and you can spit into 7 different colours. And his stick jaw for talkative parents, and his mind jujubes that will give the boy next door green teeth for a month. On the grand opening day, I decided to allow my customers to help themselves for free, and the place was so crowded with children you could hardly move. You can see there, so many people. The television cameras and the newspaper reporters were all there, and the old Duke himself stood outside in the road with my friends, the Giraffe and the Pelly and the Monkey, watching the marvellous scene. I came out of the shop to join them for a few moments, and I brought each of them a bag of extra special sweets as a present. That's kind of him. To the Duke, because the weather was a little chilly, I gave him some scarlet scorch droppers that had been sent to me from Iceland. The label said that they were guaranteed to make the person who sucked them as warm as toast, even if he was standing stark naked at the North Pole in midwinter. The moment the Duke popped one into his mouth, thick smoke came gushing out of the old boy's nostrils in such quantities that I thought his moustaches were going to go up in flames. Terrific, he cried, hopping about. Tremendous stuff. I'll take a case of them home with me. To the Giraffe I gave a bag of glumptious glob gobblers. The glob gobbler is an especially delicious sweet that is made somewhere near Mecca, and the moment you bite into it, all the perfume juices of Arabia go squirting down your gullet one after the other. It's wonderful, cried the Giraffe, as a cascade of lovely liquids poured all the way down her long, long throat. It's even better than my favourite pink and purple flowers. Can you remember what they're called? To the pelican I gave a big bag of pishlets. Pishlets, as you probably know, are bought by children who are unable to whistle as soon as they walk along to the street but long to do so. They had a splendid effect upon the pelican, for after he had put one of them in his beak and chewed it for a while, he suddenly started singing like a nightingale. This made him wildly excited because pelicans are not songbirds. No pelican had ever been known to whistle a tune before. To the monkey I gave a bag of devil drenchers, those small fiery black sweets that one is not allowed to sell to children under 4 years old. When you have sucked a devil's drencher for a minute or so, you can set your breath alight and a huge column of fire 20 feet in the air. The Duke put a match to the monkey's breath and shouted, "Blow, monkey, blow!" A sheet of orange flame shot up as high as the roof of the grubber house, and it was wonderful. Is that better? "I've got to leave you now," I said. "I must go and look after my customers in the shop." "We must go too," said the Giraffe. "We have 100 windows to clean before dark." I said goodbye to the Duke, and then one by one I said goodbye to the 3 best friends I'd ever had. Suddenly we all became very quiet and melancholy, and the monkey looked as though he was about to cry and sang me a little song of farewell. "We have tears in our eyes as we wave our goodbyes. We so love to be with you, we 3. So please do now and then come and see us again. The Giraffe, the Pelly and me. All you do is to look at a page in this book, because that's where we'll always be. No book ever ends when it's full of your friends, the Giraffe, the Pelly and me." Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to choose another book to read soon, so look out for that, and I hope you enjoyed it.